I'm gonna do it. Okay. Learning sponsorships. Gail and Leslie Kaplan, in memory of their parents, Mushka Sprinza, Bat Yosef Chaim, Vachava, Hanan ben Moshe, Eliezer, Hanan, Tesha Bas Shmuel, Yitzchak, Halevi, Tzipora, Issa ben Yoel Moshe HaKohen, Vechana. Rexford Friends of God, Sherman Gutabas Mayer, Michael Klein and Friends of Judah Klein, Yehuda Tzvi Ben Chaim, Marcia Braun in memory of her husband, Rav Yerachmiel Ben Shmuel. Friends and family of Arthur Ritholz, Mordechai Yidl Bas Ben Baruch Leib HaKohen. Friends and family of Ziggy Vessler, Shalom Shraga Bas Dov. Friends of Marvin Weinstein, Mordechai Mordechai Itar, Mordechai Iser, Bas Ben Yisrael Aharon. Sarah Alpert, memory of her husband, Rav Tzvi Lipa Ben Hillel. Rexford Friends of Madeline Friedman, Mindel, Miriam, Bas, Coleman, Reuven. Bella and David Adler, in memory of her father, Eliyahu ben Yosef HaKohen. Friends of Honey Kafetz, Chana Shoshana Bas Yosef, that's what it says here, Yosef. Month of learning, Haran and Melvin Hala, in memory of her father, Yosef Eliezer ben Tzvi Hirsch. Barbara Stern, in memory of her brother, Yisrael Avraham ben David Mordcha. Sonia and Bernie Krutz, in memory of their dear friend, Honey Chaffetz. She touched so many lives in the best way. Jack Gilman, in memory of his father, Yitzchak ben Avram Chaim. Carol and Josh Sanborn, in memory of her mother, Yitta Bat Nechama B'Yamin. And today is 6/11. There is a day of learning by Zahava Baum, in memory of her mother, Caleb Bat Yisrael Elimelech. Also, I dedicated, but it's not on here. Day of learning in honor of Kana Henner Bat Yisrael Elimelech HaKohen.
Oh, okay. So we're at the Mishnah, towards the bottom of the Kimmel today. And I went to the Mishnah Shachan means the field that you see. But you have to know also that the norm was the field that you're looking at here. The field cannot grow crops on the rainwater alone. This is the rainwater needs to be. So it is very common. Sometimes the definition is kind of spring on it. Here. Well, no, very common that it would. Yeah, it could. It's very common that it would. And that's why the Mishnah starts out when she talks and says, well, then the spring during the dry up. What spring? What you talk? What mentioned the spring? It was very normal for a basic shochan. You have two ways really. You have three ways by basic shochan. One, you stuff water with buckets from the river. Two, what would be normal? They would dig canals. They would dig canals from the river to the field and fill it with water.
From the river to the sea.
River to the river to the river to the field. And the third way was, of course, that they would have a spring. Natural spring. That was it. That was normal. That was normal everything. Yeah, that's right. So that was the normal way. So that's why the Mishnah could say if the spring dried up, what spring? There's a spring that was normal to have spring. Okay. A sharecropper, took a minute deal with the boss for a field, okay, and it's a field that needs to be irrigated. Or it's a field that in addition to its crops, it automatically has trees, which both of these things, okay. Now, the sharecropper is very happy. That there's a spring on the field. We're very happy that there's a trees on it, which is a benefit of it.
Shade and it provides lunch.
Yeah. So Yavashamak, what happened was, so the spring dried up, the Niktasi, or alternatively, the tree was cut down, Ain't no monoculo, okay, he's not allowed to discount to take off some of the money from the rent that he owes the owner. Okay, okay. Why? Because we'll see in a second. Okay, we're gonna see why. Because since he never showed, like we learned earlier, like we learned yesterday, he never showed that he's paying it for the benefit of the spring or for the benefit of the tree. It wasn't in the deal, and he's not allowed to say. Yeah, it's not in the. I mean, he didn't say so. But if we're not allowed to discount it, you know, I'm okay. I probably stay based on child things too. But if he said, lend me this irrigated field, okay, those what having water. Oh, so the base he said, lend me this field with trees. You know, there, if the spring dried up or if the tree was cut down, then I'll go for it. Now he can take off. He has a right to take off of it, but because he showed clearly that he's money he's paying is for the fact that there's a spring on the field, or for the fact that there is a tree on the field. Doesn't think about it. That's the way it's like. What's the case? What does it mean the spring the spring dried up? You don't mean if it's the big river, the real source from where they bring the water to the field. Okay, or why doesn't he take off from the rest? They will let him say the we're going to see later. We're going to learn coming up. Okay, then when there's a community tragedy, it happens to everybody. He's allowed to take off. Okay, once in he's allowed to take off. Papa, he says no. The other Schnarr, here's what happened was it was only the canal. Only the canal or the tributary, whatever it's called, not the extension of the river dried up. Okay, the Hamalim, because he continued, listen, the water source that's still there. He says, "You buy the place, go get the buckets. I didn't give you fuel with no way to water it. There's a way, and therefore you don't get it off." Yeah. What do I want to tell you? Oh yeah, they just found out now. I just they every you know I mean the pyramid is always a big mystery, everybody. What happened? They do it.
Once over.
Oh, exactly. They able to see from the satellite now that the Nile came there. The Nile went there.
Not the Nile.
Yeah. Oh yeah, extension of the Nile went to that place. So that makes much more sense. Papa, I think the ancient people were much smarter than we give credit for. Amar Papa, I think I think like this. So the first two Mishnahs in this chapter, not the whole first Mishnah, but the first part that says the Mishnah of the first Mishnah says like whatever the custom is, etc. Okay, Mishkachas law bein the Hakurusa came to come in this. Those laws, that first half of the first Mishnah, this Mishnah, well, applied. It makes no difference. No matter what we said or what we is. It applies both to a sharecropper, okay, who pays who gets a percentage of the field, or like a where the guy just rents the field and pays the rent, and the laws apply. Because from here onwards, okay, from this mission onwards, the itam kablusa, if it's a case of a renter, less of a hakmalusa, that's not going to work. It's not going to. Pardon me.
If it works for a rent,
if it works for
a sharecropper,
yeah. I think I found this right. 1 second.
It's a tenant.
Yeah. Right. Whether it's the sharecropper or if the renter, okay, but if it's a renter, it doesn't work by the sharecropper. Let's take that. I was looking at this. He said, we said, rent me this field of water field, which means it has water in it. Says so why should the owner have to give a discount? We're going to see in a second. He can say to him, Shmuel Bar Milach. Now I'll go into okay, I'll show you, but I'll explain the principle, then we'll read it.
Valley Stream.
Oh, exactly.
Has no valley.
Exactly. A cathedral road. There's no cathedral there anymore. There's, whatever it is. Okay. Smith's back 40. It's already was sold off 6 times. It's Smith's back 60. Smith's back 6. It's not Jordan's, exactly. But I think it's a name. So you can take and listen. That just happens to be what this place is referred to as. I wasn't describing the qualities of the property. I was identifying which property I'm renting to. Tanya, didn't we learn? And he has a right to say that, as long as he can show that that's true, by the way. Then we learn, a guy says, I'm selling you a base core of arable land. They used to measure land by the amount of seeds. Remember, like a base saw, the amount of land that you use a saw of seed with 50 by 50. A base core will be the amount. It's a very large area. It's an area that you would seed with 30 saws of seed. Okay, so it's a very large area. So he said, now, why do you offer dirt? No, I should say land, because dirt is a way of saying land that can be farmed. So I'm selling you a base car farmland. Even though it's half of that, it's only 15 saw. Yeah, it's actually half the size. The deal's the deal. Why That's what that place was called. That was called Smith's base car. It wasn't a base car. It's less than a base car, but it doesn't matter. But who Dimitri was a base car? But it has to be, of course, so that you can show that it's really true. That people do call us that, right? So I'm selling you a vineyard. Okay, even though there's no vineyard, even though there's no vines there, it's a good sale. That's the name. Does Martha's Vineyard have vineyards? I don't know either. Okay. No, same thing. Move to Midkari Karma. That's my place. It's called a vineyard. Okay? Find this in a mail car. I'm selling you, they're going to say you're a pomegranate orchard. There's an awful piece of money, even though there's no pomegranate. It's a yield. He gets there. He was selling the name as an identifier. With the Midkari Padres again. They have to call it. Hi, so. This is attending over here. Maybe he's only saying, look, the thing is for something. Maybe they go, well, I'm like, well, he says, you can tell, just identifying it. I'm saying you're doing. Look, I'm just telling you the name. I'm just identifying the property. I wasn't guaranteeing that there's a well, a spring on the land. I'm a small location. No way. He said, you're making a mistake. He said, the Bryces, now it's hard to read this language, means the Bryces in occurrence, which would happen because the Bryce is not talking about an owner and a sharecropper. But so the Bryce's law applied to a sharecropper, like our Mishnah would be like this. It's where the owner said to the guy, okay, I'm selling you a Beit Hashem. But the Mishnah wasn't, remember, if you look at the language of the Mishnah, it wasn't the seller speaking. It was the renter who said, and so, when the renter said it, when the owner said it to the renter, well, because they're calling it a name. But the case of our Mishnah, which is what? Where the renter was speaking, okay, Kapeda, he was saying that's what I want. When the owner says, I'm selling you an orchard, he knows today. He says, I want to rent an orchard, he means orchard. He doesn't mean the place that's called an orchard. When he says, rent me this orchard, he means orchard that has fruit trees. Okay, that's the difference. Rabbi Omar, said no, he says, I can solve the contradiction also another way. Both the we're talking where even where the owner made the statement. When we did Karmar, okay, but it says there. The difference to our Mishnah is not whether it was the owner. No, the Karmar is there from the fact that when he says this one, that's the one they're standing in Akiva. They're there, this one, they're right there. So he says this place, why do you have to say the irrigated place? He says, he says this place, why do you have to say the one with the well? The Karmar means what? I mean the irrigated one the way it is now with the irrigation system. What's that guy saying? A guy took a sharecropper, and here's what happened. And what he did was, he didn't plant it. The deal was he's going to get a percentage for planting. He leaves it fallow. He doesn't do anything. Shaman is a couple of so halacha is that we evaluate how much it would have made, how much profit it would have made. The notes in law, and he has to give the owner the percentage of the field he would have gotten had he grown the field. Why should not? Well, why is that? Now this is very important. The Mishnah says, why is it? It's not stam. It's for a reason. That's what the paper said. They wrote, if I leave it fallow and I don't work it, either if I leave it fallow, or even if I don't leave it fallow, but I don't work it properly, I'll pay you the best. I'll pay you what it should have made if it was worked properly.
What it should have made by an expert.
In its best job. But its best job. It means what would it best properly. It's best case scenario. I'll pay you the percentage of the best case scenario, not like I've done it. But Mayor, right now, this is a very important point. Now, I want to explain this. We've got this before. Remember, in the past, we learned about asmachta. Why is betting a problem? Because people say all kinds of outrageous things because they want you to listen to them. Say, if that doesn't happen, I'll eat my hat. I'll give you double if I don't touch it. People want to close the deal. Says, if that doesn't happen, I'll give you my car. So did we say asmachta l'kanya? The people say those things because they want to close the deal in the moment. But he doesn't really expect to have to pay it. So we say asmachta l'kanya. You can if you make a condition and say this happens on this condition, all the things work. All the things work. But here's what it says. We don't do it now. The question is to what degree? Okay, people say it. Now, so we say asmachta l'kanya. So it could be, but now you could argue that that's only when it's exaggerated. Say, no, even when it's not exaggerated. When people say things to close the deal, they're not serious. They just want to close the deal. So now, when regular
Yeah, we had to, I'm not that
you know, whatever, yeah.
and you wind up paying more.
Exactly. So now, when people write things, when regular people are not scholars, then they are not scholars. They write things in a paper to make a deal. So maybe the rabbis back it up, or they don't. Or and people don't intend what they write. They write up, they say all kinds of things, and they don't mean it. And we're not gonna give it credence. We're gonna treat it like what an asmachta. Or no, the right say, you know what? Even though people are not so careful of what they do, but the rabbis say, we ratify the way
We will accept.
Yes, we ratify. We could say, forget about it. We could theoretically say it's not serious. They always say we ratify it. That's the question. So that's called. So the Gemara says, "Right, mayor Dorish Lashon Hagid." That's what that means. When a mayor would ratify, he would explain what it means. Validate. He would validate that common usage. That's what they say. Okay, we don't have to, but the rabbis accept it. It's fine.
Is there a difference if it's written?
Even when it's written, that's the problem. Even when it's written, sometimes we don't say it's so serious. You're right. Even when it's written, no, because when I want to make a condition in something, I say this is a deal on condition that this happens. You see what I'm saying? Or if it's like that makes sense. So, or it happens from now. If I say this is a deal from now, if that happens,
I would think if you put it in writing, it's different.
Right?
Yeah, but the writing isn't the normal writing a lawyer would.
Right. It could be we say, hey, this is not educated. This is just people talking. People say all kinds of things. But you're right. You're right.
So that becomes a problem. How do you interpret?
Right. Do we? So so we see it, and for whatever reason, maybe it's closer to what you're saying. Maybe the rabbis listen. People do. They are serious. You know, and what people do it all the time, but they write it like you're saying. It could be.
We'll see in a minute that that's not so, because they intentionally do good.
Right. So Mayor Dorish Lashon Hagid. So a mayor did give credit to, or a mayor would take seriously the normal uses that people do. Okay, the Tanya, like we learned. Let's take a look. Mayor said, "In over below Avid," he said, classical case. The guy left it over. He left it fallow, and he has to pay, just like we said. Okay, and he said. And why? And he says, and the reason is, he says, because they write. That's all it's not written in the Gemara. He said, because they write. If I leave it fallow and I don't word and/or I don't word properly, I'll pay you the best case scenario. So you see that he accepted it. Rabbi Yehuda also used to accept the common usage. The Tanya Rabbi Yehuda said, other maybe carbon asher alishtam. There are certain sacrifices, like for example, for azab, for a leper, or for a woman who gave birth. So a rich person brings a better one, and a poor person brings a lesser one. So maybe every husband we have to pay for his wife should say, listen, she has nothing, I own everything, so she should bring a poor person sacrifice. She has nothing, I'll pay for a poor person sacrifice. So he says when he brings a korban for his wife, okay. Right, when he brings a korban for a wife, if he's rich, he can't say, I'm going to bring a poor sacrifice. He has to bring what? He has to bring a good sacrifice because he has the money. The thing called korban shehi chayevet, and every sacrifice that she's obligated, okay, even before they got married, okay, why does he have to pay for the sacrifice that she has to pay, that she incurred before they got married? Because that's what he writes in his ksula. Right is the isla a lie, then comes to know. And what responsibility that you had from before now is a lie, is upon me. That's what he wrote. Even though you're right. That's what they say. Giving a promise to the world.
Know about it.
That used to be the advertising. Our perfume used to be the advertising when we were little. Was promise anything. We give her our pledge. You know, that was the advertising.
No, we're just as old.
Just all the thing. Yeah. That remembers everything. I have certain advertisements. I remember nobody remembers them.
Yeah, but I wrote them.
So that's the story. So okay, so here's like these things. So listen, so you see what also. So we could say, well, they write it. He didn't want the farmer to say, no, we accept what he wrote. We accept it. It's not just doing sweet nothing. Hillel, his Zaken or Darish Lashon. Also, Hillel Zaken used to accept also the common usage. The Tanya, Anshe Alexandria, the people of Alexandria, they would marry them. Remember, marriage is in two stages. Right? You have Erusin and Nisuin. You have the marriage. She's forbidden to the whole world. And then by Nisuin, then he consummates the marriage. That's when it's finished. That's called Chuppah. So we said, but Shashkin is also a chuppah before when it was really what before they ever got to consummate the marriage. Why not have other people come in and steal the wives and marry them and have children? So the rabbi wanted to say all the children that came from those guys who caught them, they're all mamzerim. She was mukudeshes, and they live with her. So he says, Amalan Hilazukin. This is classic. This is classic rabbinic behavior. What? You cannot let the world fall apart. That's what he did. He said, listen, he said, bring me your mother's ksuba. So they brought the ksuba of their mothers. What do you find written? That she cuts in the chuppah heavily invasive. When be my wife when you enter the chuppah. So you see what that they made the whole tradition originally dependent upon what? Dependent upon the fact that they would consummate the marriage. So since they didn't, when the other people ripped them off, retroactively, since the marriage was never consummated by the original guys, they were never married. Incredible. But that's only because he accepted the language written in the ksuba. That's the point. It's very important.
The question is, did the man have to celebrate the other couples?
That's the point. Okay, but so you see what? So he took it seriously. You should know this is, by the way, this if you have the privilege ever to be around the great Talmid Chachamim, when there's a problem, they turn white 10 times over because they can't let the world fall apart. You have to figure it out. You have to figure out what to do. You have to find. You got to find a way. You got to find it. Okay, but Shuman Karcham with Deutschland, Shuman Karcham also validated normal language. The Tanya goes, Shuman Karcham, okay. Now, one second. You know that if you lend a guy money, so afterwards you want to make sure that you're going to get paid. So you take a shlicha base, and the guy goes into his house and gets it takes a surety, a guarantee. Okay, but then you want to lend it back to the guy. You're a nice guy. You have a mashko, a guarantee for the loan. You got a main boss, but you want to give it. The guy needs it. You got to make pay. So you give it back to him. But you want to make sure that you're going to always have your loan backed up. So what do? So okay. So he says what? So that he said when you're gonna take a mashkon, you should take a mashkon worth more than the actual loan. That's why. So Kachko saying because that's what happens when the Malva is a nice enough guy to lend it back. The guy needs it, not just for the night because he's poor, but what? He lends it back because he needs it. He wants to take it for a while. He says Tashlumta the Isla Halai Kol Kabadichi. He writes. He says the loan that I owe you is equal to this mashkon. Now, what's the whole point of that? Okay, now we're gonna see what that whole thing is for. That whole thing is a way of guaranteeing. Usually when a guy dies, so his children, the land that they inherit still bears the responsibility of the father's loan. Because when a guy lends, he relies on the land. Land can't be hidden. So so the lien goes on the land. But nobody gives a loan relying on his big bond, whatever, because you can just take it and hide it someplace. So generally, children's movables that they inherit don't stand as a guarantee for the father's loan, but the land does. But in this case, where the guy writes it down, when he gets him to write it, that's a way of doing one, of making sure that it has the, we're going to see in a second, that makes sure that he can even collect it from the orphans, because that every lender relies on, you understand, because he wrote it down already, you understand, so he relies on it. So that's the thing relies on it. The time of the consequence is marks it out, because the marks not but that's also work. Don't say, because since you write it that way, we give it validity. You see what I'm saying?
You can take the main cards for the $10.
But therefore never take one that's worth more.
Never give one that's worth more because it could.
Yeah. Okay. No, but here it is talking about the lender though. It says okay.
You're not allowed.
Yeah, you're not allowed to take one that's worth more. Okay, now time is the question is 1 second. The whole reason why you can collect is because you wrote it down. Time is the cost of auction. Because what? I know the cost of the color. You want to tell me what? If you didn't write it down, you have to get it. Probably open. Didn't we learn? Meshkanovi, Mishilo Mashkan. Didn't we learn already with no contract? He says if the guy took a surety and he gave the surety back to the guy, the nice guy. He can rip it away from the kids. He can't get it back. He doesn't need to have written it in the contract that it was worth something. Why did he do it? The answer is no. He says, he says, you're right. The truth is that even the Mashkon, even that is a person relies on. even without it being in the contract. If I said wrong before I corrected, he said the Mashkon, he realized it. However, but here's the point. And he's not written the contract, when he gives it back to the guy, the thing loses value as he uses it. So he wouldn't get, he would lose if he gives it back, he would lose the valuation of the thing of the guy using it. When he writes in the contract, he froze the value, he froze the value of the loan, and therefore he has to collect the whole thing, and they can't subtract what the devaluation.
But again, here the rabbis go above and beyond the actual written text.
No, they accepted the written text.
Yeah, but if I write this is worth $100, I took it as collateral, and now it's only.
It means it's guaranteed.
The rabbis give me the 100.
No, because he wrote it. Because he said it's worth. He back in the words.
That's how they interpret it.
No, a normal case of lending it back, he wouldn't include it. But since he wrote it as if it was it was guaranteed that it wasn't going to go down, should we accept? Similar case, okay? Now. It's simple. It's a very. The next case, you'll see why it's so similar. You know that when you marry a woman, there's two ways a woman can bring property into the marriage. One is called Nesei Maluk, one's called Tom Barza. Nesei Maluk, we don't write into the ksuba, and she maintains ownership of the property, and the husband has the right to use it, and the property goes up or down in terms of her possession. If the market drops out, she lost it. If it goes up, she wins. But all the time they're married, the previous part goes on. The second is called Son Barza. So Barza means the husband says, I'm taking this stuff into the marriage at a price, and I guarantee it. It came in at 100. I don't care if it goes down to 0. I'll pay you back 100. And it's effectively his.
If it goes up,
it's effectively his. So now we're saying, so when we do that, that's called making it a loan. Why? It's as if it's a loan. Here, you lend me 100, I'll pay you back 100. Now, after that's my business. When I have the money's fungible, I'll do whatever I want. When we say that when you make it a loan, essentially what you're saying, that's called toe buys. I'll let you write it down. And it's essentially as if it's a three-way deal. In other words, he's borrowing it from the father with a promise that he'll pay it back to the wife if he divorces or if he dies. So it's a deal. He's getting a penny for penny. He's collecting from the father. And to give to
whatever he wants.
And he wants as long as he pays it back to the parent. If the death, it'll pay back to the daughter if he dies or if he divorces. Because you're a Dorish Russian head, now this is very similar to what we just said with the other contract. The Tanya, okay, where do we see he get created?
And that's a perfectly good ksuba.
That's our ksuba.
That's how we do it.
You're right. You guarantee when you marry your wife, you write down that you accept in a certain price that you're going to give her no matter what. Okay. Whatever she brought it. In fact, you write better. You write what you said. Bryce said, you're such a gentleman, you're going to match it. You're going to see her razor one.
Well, our ksuba is now fixed.
I'm
Before about 100 years ago, they were negotiating.
Yeah, but it's very chivalrous. She bought it this. He says, and I'll see her and I'll raise her. I'll give her.
But it was considered a loan.
It's essentially it's the equivalent of a loan. The father is lending it to you to pay back. Well, it's not plenty, or when you divorce.
The mechanism,
like a loan. Like tit for tat.
It's really a gift.
When I get a loan, it's all fungible. You can't get back your $100 bill from me. I don't need 100. That's what I want. Okay, now. Okay, Rabbi Yossi, how do you think I know all these legal words? Because half my students were lawyers. That's no language. Rabbi Yossi had Dorish Lashon Hadya. Okay, the Tanya goes we learn. But Rabbi Yossi Omer, Malcolm Shenago Nasos Ksuva Milva, in a place where they make the Ksuva Milva. In other words, when they make the Ksuva alone. In other words, what's in the Ksuva is some barzal, like I just explained to you. So Gova Milva, okay, so therefore he collects exactly that number from the father, okay, and now. So go, but he takes it, he collects it. Lichpo, if the custom wasn't that place, that they write double the real value, she brings in 50 and they run 100.
They're showing.
Yeah, they run 100 to make it look good. Mechto, then they only collect half. That's the deal. Okay, Nabaloi, plus is Delta. He says the truth is that the Nabaloi used to take only a third, but they used to triple the amount. Meremer Magabi Anamishif. Meremer would take no. Meremer would collect, okay, the actual amount written in the Ksuba. Yeah, I'm going to reveal the Meremer. So Reveal says, what are you talking about? One time we weren't expecting this ran a Brisa. What are you talking about? This both over Metzah. When we know that they double it, he doesn't get the whole thing. He gets half because they double it. He says, Lokashi, he says, don't worry, it doesn't matter. When Remeber took the real amount, the Kohen, it's when he made a kinyan with the father, That's real. That's not an exaggeration. Even in a place where they usually exaggerate it, when you take a kinyan with the father, it's over. That's real. Your hard luck coming in there. When we collect the fraction, because he didn't make it special deal with the father. Another, when you make a kinyan with the father, he said, "What? Even though this is normally a nicer thing,
but I'm holding you to
I'm
it.
holding you to it." Ravina, okay, Mishkan, I told you, beautiful story, and it was the right way always. Things got out of hand. Our families in Europe, when the kids would get married, they got married as teenagers when they got married. So the fathers were happy to support the kids for a couple of years, let them learn. They were like, let them learn for a couple of years. So the Bach, the Bias Chodesh, the giant of Torah, his son-in-law was the Turizov. His son-in-law was the Turizov. So in the deal that he made when they got married, he told me to feed him meat. So you're gonna give him meat certain times a week, and he gave him lung. So I guess lung is not considered the finest. It's the finest cut.
Not a better cut.
Can't get your teeth into it.
McDonald's
Yeah. So this how I'm telling you what it was called. He took him to Basin, and the Basin asked him that lung is meat. But the way it was told to me was that the Taz loved his father, and he wasn't trying to get any money out of it. He was worried for his father. God forbid that he wasn't fulfilling his contract. And he knew once the Basin was passed in the everything is fine. And the way it was taught to me, the way it was taught to me, it was all done from love. He took his father-in-law to court to get the Basin to say the word that is your thing to make sure because he doesn't follow. That's how it was. That's how it's supposed to be.
I know the best, and I don't want what you said.
Exactly. Exactly. You make it take it back. We have that like a mark. Okay. Ravina. Okay. Mishpach with Tzivlavardi. Ravina exaggerated, and he wrote a double number for his dog. Normally, they said the nickname is so it's okay. You want to make a Kenyan? Amalei says nothing to do it. It says the mikna lo mikna. If you're going to take a Kenyan, then I'm not doubling it. The mikna, if I'm doubling it, lo mikna. I'm not going to Kenyan. I'm doing this as a social grace, not as a serious cut. What's that?
Ravina was in the hard so it's probably true.
No, that was the harbor lawyer. It was the harbor lawyer. The harbor lawyer. Okay, now. Okay, there's a certain guy who was dying. He's on his deathbed. Okay, and it was a place where they usually double up. Okay, and he was about to die. Normally, when he said to them, they have to watch the words carefully. Says, give 400 Jews to my daughter. Okay, big suva also. Give 400 Jews to my daughter in her suva. Okay. Remember, over there they usually double. So what's the real price? What's the real price? Yeah, what's the real price? He dies. What's the price? 2 or 4? Okay. Yeah. Okay. They run from Rashi. Okay. Okay. Obama didn't tell them out. They said, listen, is it 4, which is really 8? Is it really right? 8? So it means 4 really? Oh, no, when you said the 4, he meant that was the exaggerated price, and it was really 2. The number he gave was it the exaggerated price or the price that needs to be exaggerated? And he says, don't worry. He says, it's clear. Let's take a look. Okay, Din and Tom He says, if he said give her, so it's 4, it means which are 8. Because he said give her 4, so it's true 4, which he exaggerated the 8. He said write for her, he said write 4, then the Masa. Then he only meant write 4, it's really 2. So he says, some people say, no, that's not what he said. This is what he said. Actually, this is what he said. He said, just look and see. So if he said what? For her ksuva, you see the word? Remember the language we have? Big ksuva, right? If he said for her ksuva, Arba Mezuzzi, the Ian and Tommy. He said for her ksuva, it's really 4. He's giving her, which are 8. The Yamar big ksuva, he said in her ksuva, it's Arba Mezuzzi and Masa. That's what he wants to write. So it's 4, which are 2. The lovely, but it's not true. All that's not all. The real truth is, Lo Shana, Nama Liksuva, Shoma Biksuva, makes no whether we said for the Tsuva or in the Tsuva, okay? It makes no difference. Abba is in Masa, it's always 4, which are 2. Unless he just says give it to her. But the second he mentions the Ksuva, it's always the lower. He's giving the amount that goes in the Okay, he goes in the amount. If a certain guy was an Ari, so he's a sharecropper, Bears fan. And Ari, he says, now we're getting to ready about the problem of betting. So listen, he says, if I don't plant it, I'll give you $1,000. That's a very exaggerated money. Over something. But what he actually did was he left 1/3 pound. He said, if I leave a pound, I'll give you 1,000. He left 1/3 pound. Amri Nargoy said, Dino Gilai law, okay, plus me and plus and plus and plus. I say, you have to pay her 333 and a third. Marcus, the deal was Fowler was 1,000, so a third Fowler should be a third of 1,000. Obama said no. That's not the, he said, talking like that. That's an exaggerated thing. He's got to close the deal. It means nothing. The contract goes through without the promise at all. Not if he needs all Fowler, not if he's a third Fowler, he doesn't know money. Forget it. He says, well, the robot, okay, my show me, he paid the normal amount, like you said before, they would have paid. The robot might show me, hold on 1 second. How come robot say that what he said? Then we, what about this? He said, what about the mission? He said, I'll leave it fallow, I don't work it properly. I'm going to pay the field that it's necessary. I'll pay the percentage. No comparison. Also, local government, there he wasn't exaggerating. There, the rabbis can give it credence. You understand? He wasn't an exaggerated thing. Now, there's a whole focus here whether all of Knockers are exaggerated. Here, the rabbis wasn't exaggerated. The normal thing to say. Listen, now, I made a deal. You're expecting to get paid a certain amount of the year.
That's boilerplate.
I think that's normal. It's not weird. It's not a desperate claim to get him to buy it. He says, off a year, he says, came to the Gomer Milsi and Tirto. Since he said something way out of range, that we say is because go down with a couple of hours in the shimshim. Now, the guy said he's supposed to plant that essentially is a high price crop. You make a lot of money, but it's very hard on the field. Okay, so hard on the field. Yeah, hard on the field. Okay, now, so now, so he got it to. He was supposed to put a crop of sesame. Then the owner was expecting to get, let's say whatever was supposed to get a percentage of sesame. Zarchite, okay, and he planted wheat, which is a much lower price. But of the truth is that the sale value of the crop was the same. Wheat became so expensive that it sold for the same price. So he's going to get his percentage to be exactly the same as he would have gotten out of getting sesame. Sorrow kind of made but not in like okay, and I thought okay, but still, they said like this: the sharecropper is going to be able to also to get extra the amount that he did not deplete the land.
Not the sharecropper, the landlord should get the money.
No, the opposite. The guy has to give the discount, and since having done what he said, he would have gotten a percentage of the crop, but he would have lost a certain amount. Now that he got the percentage of the crop and he didn't lose it, he has to give that money back to the sharecropper. That's what he thought. He said to him, he said no. He says, listen. He said he doesn't have to, because people say he said, listen. He says, nobody wants to have to ever pay. So listen, I want my money. And I expected to get $500 for this field. I want my 500. The field's not in good shape. Heck with it. I'll worry about that later. So nobody wants to. Everybody, when they make a contract, expecting to get the money. That's my problem. Don't mix in my business whether my field is devaluing or not devaluing. I'm supposed to get 500. I want 500. You change the deal. I want my 500.
We had this principle before. When the guy marries a girl and he gets a salt mine as Nixay Malov. And when he gives it back to her, there's no more salt in it. And the Chachamim said that he's entitled to the payros, even if the land is depleted.
Yes, here's
so here, why did I teach the price?
No, here's the point. Here's the point is that it's understood that I'm not when I make a deal with you. It's none of your business how I make my money. That's the point. It's not your business. I expect to make a certain amount of money. You did me a favor. Thank you very much. But the deal was I get 500. You can't mix in what my personal accounting is. That's between me and myself. I got a brother-in-law who solves those problems. My brother-in-law. I got a brother-in-law in the business. And you can't make a cheshbon for me. The deal was I get 500. I get 500. 500. I want the 500. I didn't lose the money, and that's my problem. You can't do anything with that. I look out for the couple Arla Shubshin. Again, a guy with a sharecropper for sesame, high price crop damaging. Zorachiti. Okay, and again, he planted wheat. The other chiti and now the wheat was even worth more than the crop. So now you figure what that the okay okay. He should only get the amount that he would have gotten for. He should. You think that the landowner now should only get the amount. Should only get the amount that he would have gotten for sesame because all the benefit was really because of the sharecropper. Amalei says nothing. No. You have to give me the percentage of the better crop. Why? Amalei Ravachim he says who did the sharecropper make it better? Do you think the land didn't make the wheat grow better? If the wheat produced better, okay, the land also contributed. You can't take away the benefit of the better crop.
Nutrients came from
that's it. I iska palga milga. Okay, upalga because remember we learned in general if I want to make a deal with the guy, so I do. What's the standard discount? I'll give here's $100. 50 is a loan for you. 50 is a loan for you to own half the business. 50 I'm investing in the business. Okay, and I thought I could lose 50 if I'm the investor. You can lose 50 if you're the borrower. I get my 50, and I pay you. But you remember but the lender has to pay the worker for working, otherwise it's tribute. So has to pay him for working his ass. You have to pay him some money because he works.
He has to get a salary.
Yeah, to get a salary. Okay, I'm Rabban Milsa. Okay, okay, that's the way we do it. And the rabbis want this kind of setup. Why? Rabban Milsa, the Nishalei love against the Mama. Here's a deal that's quite pleasant both for the lender and the borrower. Why? The lender is only at risk for half, and the borrower is only at risk for half. That's something everybody's happy to do. Otherwise, if you make different numbers, lenders are not going to lend, or workers, whatever it's called, the working partner is not going to do it. We need, and again, and just I've tried to stress a lot in the classes, the rabbis understand a healthy commercial society. And usually you need everybody. You need people who run businesses. You need people who lend money, and you need people who, you need all the components. We need in a healthy society. You need worker guys. You need managing guys. You need lending guys. You need everything.
You need venture capital.
Venture capital, exactly. So we want to make sure that everybody stays in a healthy society. We don't want everybody to be lenders. We don't want everybody to be workers. We want to have an abundance of working guys, managing partners, and lending partners. That's a good, healthy society. And the rabbis were smart enough to tend to business, to make sure that it would come out that way. Okay. So now that we said that a normal iska that half is a milva, so you have to see what does that mean. He bought the mission by Shifra Shopper Dummy. Spikavik is going to do listen, here's 50 for you to have half the business and 50 for me to have half the business. He says, you know what? Heck with it. I'm not buying any merchandise of mine. I'm going drinking. He wants to go drinking up. I said, Rabbi says he can do it. The Rabbi said, no, he can't do that. He cannot do that. That's why the deal is called an iska. Iska means work it. The Amalei says, yeah, we don't want to give it like a cookie bag. I didn't lend it to you as a stumble. I lent it as a loan that you're going to work. That's the deal. The deal is you're going to work it. Now, why is that? Because you want a guy who has what to gain. I want a partner who's working. Even if I pay him, I want a guy who's just working my stuff. He's lazy guy. I want his financials. Yeah, exactly. And that's why I tell people all the time. Greedy people don't bother me. Dishonest people I'm worried about. I'm happy to hire greedy people. I love it. They want to make money. They'll make me money. Dishonest people, don't hire them. Don't hire dishonest people. It's no good. Fastest way to don't hire dishonest people. A greedy guy's fine for me. He'll work. I'm happy. Work hard. I love it. To work hard. He's busy making a lot of money. Huh?
You don't want to hire a crook, but you want to be his partner.
Yeah. I told you. I had a big mouth this with a student of mine in Los Angeles. Everybody wants to be actors in Los Angeles. So the place where we used to go to school, there was a talent agency. So their whole job is, you hire them and they get you acting jobs. So the sign says, blah, blah, blah. Agency talent does matter. So what is it? Because all these struggling actors are failing, they want to encourage them. No, it matters now. If I would have had an agency, I would write the opposite. I always told them I would write
talent doesn't
matter. I'm so good. That's what I would write. If you were ugly as sin, I'll get you a job. That's what I would write. Talent doesn't matter if you're an idiot. You're some piece of rock. I'm so good I get you a job. That's what I would have been. Anyway. Okay, I'm Rafita, but I want that guy. That's the guy I want. I'm reading about it. Okay, he makes. He says. If the guy dies, in other words, if okay, it's about it. The Nasa about it. The loan is what is movable. What and the guy can't collect. The guy can only collect. And the guy can only collect it from what? Uh, um, the metalton are not a lien, and he only collect the land. Well, no, he says no. He says you're wrong. He says why, bro? That's why it's called an iska. Okay, what? That he has to always be involved in it, and he always has merchandise. He makes it. It's always like it's in place of merchandise, and therefore, if he dies, well, Yassim it's not considered movables. Why? Because that's the point. This point, remember, the whole idea. Just make it make sense. Man, I tried to say before. The whole idea of why loans don't go to movables because no guy lent it ever seriously relied on it. You can hide metallically. But here, there's certain things that we single out, like we said before, and it has the rules.
Right, but that's a good sign.
Yeah, that is the sign. 100%. Okay, Rabbosai, a good Arab Yontif, a wonderful Yontif. You too. Yeah, a wonderful Yontif. Right. Oh, and people who learn this is your holiday.
What? Oh,
this is your holiday.
That's a whole lot like this.
No, but I mean, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. But that's not what I meant. I meant you're learning with people with
holiday one. So with the daf is tomorrow at 5.
Whatever it said on the paper.
Okay.
What?
And tonight you're giving us here?
Yeah. I'm so embarrassed. I was so excited yesterday when I turned my bicycle around my house. I smudged the wall next to your door with my bicycle tire. I don't want to damage you. No. I'm very sorry. So I have two possibilities. If you have somebody who cleans, let them clean it and I'll reimburse you. Or I'll do it myself. I don't know if I'll do it again. I'm sorry.
I know. Okay. I don't even know what you're talking about.
I put a smudge next to your door. You'll see on the left side of the door coming in. When I turn my bicycle around, I smudged the wall with the tire.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to damage you.
No, the exterior wall doesn't belong to me. It belongs to first service, full first service.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay.
8:53.
You can daven earlier. You can't eat earlier. You can daven it after flag if you want.
You can make kiddush early? No. Yeah.
What's that?
Tomorrow is an hour earlier than on Wednesday, it's written wrong, I think, yeah. I think on Wednesday they wrote wrong. An hour earlier.
Thank you for thinking with that book. I will.
It's great. I think I found the book delightful, actually. I hope you enjoy it.
Okay. I hope so.
Yeah, somebody I knew about him. It was like he died like in the 90s, right? It was like right after this other guy wrote the book. You can see the guy who wrote the book also really admired the guy, like mathematically. Anyway.
Okay.
No, we got 10, don't we?
Nine.
Now we have
10?
9 here.
I remember there's an envelope with cash lying on the table of the people. Yeah, just lying there.
Lying there?
Table where? By the seat, there's a secret out there.
Oh, Steve Hotel.
So, but if we can both spread out simultaneously.
Oh, first, okay. Okay. Do we have enough to make it? No. Okay. Thank you, Steph.
Oh, he was stuck in your next door neighbor on the other side.
Oh, my mother came
Yeah.
my mother.
Okay.
Give her regards.
Now.
We know that.
Yeah, I go on the other side.
Right.
Okay, we'll talk to you. We'll see you out there.
If she called you, it's because you're not calling off.
Okay, thank you for.
My wife calls them and said, I'm calling because you didn't call me.
Yeah, that's a trouble. Okay, well, wonderful day. God bless.